Hello everyone, welcome to my new channel Microbial Content. This channel is mainly helpful for the students or those who are studying the microbiology. In our today's first lecture, we are going to study about the sterilization and disinfection. As you know, the microbiology is concerned, the most important aspect is the sterilization and disinfection. So for that purpose, we should go first for the sterilization, disinfection, and their various definition come across. And for that purpose, why first we should think why it is necessary to sterilize, or why the sterilization is necessary. Now you can see here there are a number of microorganisms which are able to cause the contamination in various laboratory techniques or the contamination in the various the program in which are performing in the laboratory. Secondly, they are also responsible for the different type of the infection in the human beings, and they are also causing the decay of the various matters, either food material or the organic matter. They are decayed by this organism. Hence, it becomes very necessary to remove them from this material and the area where they are get incorporated and cause the contamination, infection, and the decay. So that's why it becomes necessary to remove them, and they will prevent the further damage or the infection or the contamination. So we know that in the early civilization period, the best practices used were the salting, the smoking, the pickling, and exposure to sunlight. We know that in the earlier period, at our home, we used to prepare the pickles by the process they are doing the salting, and we are also exposing the various vegetables and some component to the sunlight. And the main principle behind this was to remove the microorganism and keep them free from the microorganism. This is in the earlier period. But in the mid 1800th century, the Lister, that is the Joseph Lister, developed the aseptic technique to prevent the contamination of surgical wounds prior to this development. But due to the prior development, the nosocomial infection was responsible for the death of the people, and up to the 25% of the mothers delivering in the hospital died due to the infection. And this was reduced by the development of the antiseptic surgery or the aseptic technique by the Joseph Lister. First, we will go for the definition. We will come across this chapter. The first is the most important is the sterilization. Just we have seen that why it is necessary to use the sterilization. The sterilization means the process of freeing an article from microorganisms, including their spores. Here, you can also define the sterilization in other way: the process of freeing an article, the surface or medium from the microorganism, including their spore. Here you can see that we have mentioned specifically the spore. Why? Because spores are the most resistant state of the living cell. Because most of the living cells can be killed between 60 to 70 degrees centigrade. But the spore form of the bacteria are the most resistant state, and they have to be killed. And for that purpose, we have used the term including their spore, and then and only then the sterilization can be completed. Second thing, you should not use the sterilization in the way as the semi-sterile or the almost sterile like this. Any article or medium which contain the microorganism means it is unsterile, or if it is totally free from microorganism, then it is known as the sterile. You should not use this term in this form like semi or the partially sterile. Similarly, the term we are commonly using is the disinfection. Here you can see clearly, disinfection means reducing the number of pathogenic microorganisms to the point where they no longer cause the disease. Here you can see that the term we are using, pathogenic microorganisms, means that these are the microorganisms responsible for causing the diseases. And disinfection means not necessary to kill all the, including the spore. It is to reducing the number of pathogenic microorganisms so that they will not cause further disease. And that's why the process is known as the disinfection, that is reducing the number of pathogenic microorganisms. The term commonly used in the medical lab is the sepsis, that is, which comes from the Greek word, and it is known as the decay or putrid, and it indicates that the bacterial contamination. For that purpose, the term used is the sepsis. But to prevent it or to remove it, then the terminology used is the asepsis, that is the absence of significant contamination. That we generally use that the aseptic technique should be used, that is the absence of the significant contamination. Similarly, the aseptic techniques that are used to prevent the contamination, particularly for the surgical instrument, medical personnel and the patient during their surgery, so that they will not get suffer from the disease. So it is necessary to maintain the aseptic technique in the hospital. These aseptic techniques are also used to prevent the bacterial contamination in the food industry, because in the food industry, if the bacteria get contaminated, it can get destroyed. So that these aseptic techniques are most important to maintain the sterile conditions. Similarly, there are various terminology used in relation to the sterilization, that is the bacteriostatic agent. Here you can see the term bacterio, that means the bacteria. Static means to inhibit. So here the definition indicates that an agent that inhibits the growth of bacteria but does not necessarily kill them. So that's why the term used is the bacteriostatic. Once the number of bacteria they enter, they will not be allowed to go further, and that will be inhibited, and that's why they cannot grow in the large number, and by inhibiting their growth they will not cause any harm. Similarly, the term also used is the bactericide or bactericidal agent. Here the term is the bacterio and side. The bacteria are killed. Hence the agent that kills the bacteria are known as the bactericidal agent. The most do not kill the endospore. You must remember here we are mentioned bactericidal means killing the bacterial cell. That's why the specific term is used, that is the sporicide, for that agent that are able to kill the spore, that is the sporicide or sporicidal agent. First we will see the various methods of the sterilization. These methods of sterilization for control of the microbial growth are based on the various agents which are used for the sterilizing purpose. The first one is the physical agents, they can be used. Second are the chemical agents, and third is the mechanical removal method. Among these three methods, the first we'll see about the physical agents. The most important agent which are used are the heat and radiation. Among the heat, again, which is the most popular method for sterilization, we are using the dry heat and moist heat. Under dry heat, we are using the incineration, dry oven, and one more method, that is the flaming, is also included. While in the moist heat, we are using the steam under pressure that will result into sterilization, then the boiling water, hot water, and pasteurization, that process will result into the disinfection. While in case of the radiation, we are using mainly two types of radiation. One is the ionizing radiation and second is the non-ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation include mainly the X-ray, cathode rays and the gamma rays, and that are mainly useful for the sterilization purpose. While the non-ionizing radiation, that is UV rays, that are responsible mainly for the disinfection. The second agent we are using for the sterilization, that is the chemical agent. They are either in the gas form or in the liquid form. In the gases, that can be used for sterilization purpose or the disinfection purpose, while the liquids may be applicable to the animate and the inanimate. So in the animate, that agent known as the chemotherapy, or secondly for the antiseptics. And while in the, if they are used for the inanimate object, then it is for the sterilization purpose or for the disinfection purpose. We will see details in separately regarding the chemical agents which are used for the sterilization or the disinfection purpose. The third method we have mentioned, that is the mechanical removal method, and this process mainly includes the one method, that is the filtration. Either the filtration of the air that can result into the disinfection, or the filtration of the various liquids and which will remove the microorganism that will result into the sterilization. As such, these three methods we have mentioned: physical, chemical and the mechanical removal method. So first we will see today about the physical method of the sterilization, and most popular method which is most commonly used various laboratories is the hot air oven, that is by sterilization by dry heat. You can see here the instrument hot air oven which is commonly used in the laboratory, and the killing action of the hot air or the dry heat is mainly by the oxidation effect of the heat, or secondly there is the actual burn up of the microorganism. And for in the hot air oven we are using the dry heat, and it is operated at the large level, that is 250 to 300 degrees centigrade, and the most commonly temperature used is the 160 degrees centigrade for 1 hour, that is 160 degrees centigrade, and the holding period is the 1 hour. And sometimes in some cases 180 degrees centigrade can also be used, but time period required for that purpose is the 30 minute. So, and all this temperature can be adjusted by using the thermostat which controls the temperature in the oven. And this hot air oven is the double wall changer which is insulated and keeps the heat in the conserve energy inside it. And by this method you can sterilize the forceps, scissors, scalpels and saws. While the second most important use is it is used to sterilize the pharmaceutical products like liquid paraffin, dusting powder, fats and greases which cannot be sterilized by the moist heat sterilization. Now in the hot air oven you have to take some precaution. While performing this process, the most important precaution you have to take, you have to wrap your material, that is the forceps, scissors or the scalpel or the saw, in the craft paper, and this material should be kept inside uniformly, so that there should be the uniform flow of the hot air inside. And after closing this instrument, after the process is over, it should not be opened immediately, because if you are sterilizing the glassware inside, they will be clamp that will be destroyed if it is open immediately due to the rapid cooling effect. So after process is over, that is 160 degrees centigrade for 1 hour, then you should allow to cool the instrument and then you should open. So you can get the material in the cool form and it is the in the dry state. Then the second method in the dry heat is generally we are using most commonly in the laboratory, that is the flaming. In some places that this terminology also used similar to the like the red flame or red heat. So in the flaming, the inoculation loop or the inoculating wires, the tip of the forceps and the spatula are held in the Bunsen flame directly until they are the red hot. So that sometimes the red heat also used. And the flaming is used mainly for those we are passing through the flame, that is the glass slides, the cover sleeve, the mouth of the test tube, mouth of the flask, we are passing through the flame before inoculating the media containing the test tube or the flask. And that method what we referred as the flaming, or simultaneously we are also using the term red heat. The next third important method in the dry heat is the incineration. The term incineration, it is clearly saying the incinerate, to burn up, and this is an excellent method of the destroying the materials such as the contaminated cloths, animal carcasses and pathological material which is highly infectious if it remain exposed to the human beings, and that's why it must be incinerated. Nowadays the most modified incinerators are available in the hospitals, They are double walled chambered. They are having operated at the very high temperature, that is 800 degrees centigrade for the first portion, and the second chamber is having the temperature of 1000 to 1200 degrees centigrade. You can see with very high temperature. So the all infected material which is subjected to incineration will be converted into the small quantity of the ash, even though it is present in the large number. That process is commonly performed in the hospital, that is the process of incineration. In our earlier days also, we are also commonly using this method, incineration, that is collecting the all the material, that is the waste material, and we get burn up, and that is the method we are using since the last time. Now next method, that is the sterilization by using the moist heat. Up till now we have seen the sterilization by dry heat. Now we come to by the moist heat, and killing effect of the moist heat is by coagulating their proteins. While in the dry heat we have seen that they are destroying the organism by oxidizing or actual burnup. Here the organisms are killed by coagulating their proteins. Now we'll see what are the different methods we are used under the moist heat sterilization or by using the moist heat. The first one is the temperature below 100 degrees centigrade, and it includes mainly the pasteurization and inspection. And second method is the temperature at 100 degrees centigrade, that we know that is the boiling. Third one is the steam at atmospheric pressure, and for that purpose we are using the instrument, that is the Coin steam sterilizer or Arnold steam sterilizer or Arnold steamer. And third instrument, which is most commonly used in various hospitals and laboratories, that is the steam under pressure, that is the autoclave, which is most commonly used. But today we are going to see about first about the two methods, that is the temperature below 100 degrees centigrade and temperature at 100 degrees centigrade. First we will come to the temperature below 100 degrees centigrade, and the first process under 100 degrees centigrade is the pasteurization. And this pasteurization process is commonly used for the milk, where the process of killing of pathogen in the milk, but does not necessarily to sterilize it. Sterilize, we have seen the definition, killing of all the living organism includes the spore. But in the pasteurization, it is able to kill the most of the pathogen present in the milk. And this process of pathogen killing can be operated or can be performed by heating the milk at 63 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. And this method is referred as the holder method, or also referred some in book mentioned as the holding method, where each and every particle of milk is heated at 63 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. In addition to this, it is also having one more method where the milk can be heated at 72 degrees centigrade for 15 to 20 seconds. This is the most important aspect, because in the earlier we have seen it is for the minutes, but as the temperature is very high, that is 72 degrees centigrade, it is only for 15 to 20 seconds. And next important is rapid cooling to 13 degrees centigrade is most important, because we are heating at 72 degrees centigrade, and if it is remain as it is, it will continue and it will destroy the content of the milk or coagulate the proteins. So it must be subjected to the rapid cooling to 13 degrees centigrade. So while defining the flash method, that is referred as the flash method, you must mention that is the process at which the milk particle is heated at 72 degrees centigrade for 15 to 20 seconds, followed by cooling at 13 degrees centigrade, and hence it is referred as the flash process. This was the first one, that is the pasteurization. Now you can see here, this is the instrument, that is the water bath, which is commonly used in most of the laboratories. And in the water bath, it is mainly useful to inactivate the non-sporing bacteria for the preparation of the vaccines. Some vaccines can be prepared from the non-sporing organism, and that can be subjected to the heating in the water bath, particularly at 100 degrees centigrade for 1 hour is used, and that is referred as the special vaccine bath. While the second method, where the serum or the body fluids containing the coagulable proteins can be sterilized by heating for 1 hour at 56 degrees centigrade in water bath for several successive days. Here you can remember 1 hour at 56 degrees centigrade, and this process you have to perform for several successive days. Here you cannot increase the temperature because serum or the body fluids containing the coagulable proteins. That's why the temperature you have to use 56 degrees centigrade. If it is increased to high temperature, then it will result in the destruction of the protein. So although it is repeated for the several days, but it is only for 1 hour at 56 degrees centigrade, and it is done by using the hot water bath. While the next process we can see here, that is the inspisation, that is performed by using the instrument known as the inspicator. We have seen earlier the pasteurization, and second, that is the inspisation by using the inspicator. In inspicator, the sterilization process is done by heating at 85 to 85 degrees centigrade for half an hour for 3 successive days. So although we have mentioned the range 80 to 85 degrees centigrade, and it should be exposed for the 30 minutes for 3 consecutive days. But here you can see that the sterilization is done for the 3 consecutive days because the temperature is below 100 degrees centigrade, not above the 100. So it is able to kill mostly the vegetative forms. And if any spores are present, they will get converted into the vegetative form between the first and second exposure, and they will be killed by the subsequent exposure. And lastly, if any spore form remain, they will get further converted into vegetative form. They are killed in the vegetative form on the third subsequent exposure. And this method is mainly useful for those media which contain the coagulable proteins, mainly the Lowenson-Jensen medium, commonly known as LJ media, which contain the egg, and it is used for the cultivation of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Similarly, the second media is known as the Loeffler's serum slough, which contain the serum. This media is also useful for the cultivation of some fastidious organism, mainly for the Corynebacterium, diphtheria. These are grown on the Loeffler's serum slough. So this inspicator is most commonly used in the laboratory. Then second method, now we will see the temperature at 100 degrees centigrade, and as it is, the process is performed by using the water. So the boiling point of water, everybody know that is 100 degrees centigrade, and that 100 degrees centigrade is able to kill the most of the vegetative forms of the bacterial cell. The particularly most of the pathogenic bacteria which are in the vegetative form, they are killed by the boiling. In the old days, the boiling process were most commonly in use by the various in the laboratories or in the hospitals, where they used to sterilize the syringes by the boiling, that is able to kill the most of the vegetative pathogenic bacteria. But it has been found that the hepatitis viruses can survive up to 30 minutes for boiling, while the bacterial spore, they cannot be killed by only boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. They can survive up to 20 hours for more for at the boiling temperature. So that nowadays this boiling process is not in much more use. So instead of that, they are using the disposable sterile syringes, or they are using the syringes which are sterilized by the autoclaving. That is one of the method. Now we'll see in the next part. Now thanks for watching my this first video, and more content will be posted on this channel. Please like and share and subscribe to my channel. Okay, we'll see in the next lecture in the second video. Thank you.